Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Gaura Pivanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa. Tri Vrat Gachaja Stotra Satya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace. Chalabai Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki
Jai.
ISKCON BBT Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki
Jai.
Samavata Bhakta Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtana Ki
Jai.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki
Jai.
Danitai Gaura
Hari
Pimarande.
Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled
Hare
devotees.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled
Hare
devotees.
Krishna.
All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada ki.
Jai Sri Prabhupada ki Jai.
Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Takshurundalitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanditam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sati Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Dharam Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Sarasatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Tato Jaya Mudiraye.
Tato Jaya Mudire.
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta praya sabadreshu
Nasta Praye Subhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Tamasloke
Bhagavate Uttama Sloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki.
By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, whose praise with transcendental songs, it becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Idam Bhagavata Nama
Puranam Brahma Samitam
Puranam Brahmasamitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Nishreyasaya Lokasya
Nishreyasaya Lokasya
Dhanyam Swastaya Namaha.
Dharanam Swastai Namaha.
The Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantara, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Sridham Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhara,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
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 Om Sarabhyaya Namaha,
Om Asurabhyaya Namaha,
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha,
Om Asurabhyaya Namaha,
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha,
Om Asurabhyaya Namaha.
Mukam karoti vasaram pangum langayate girim yatvipatamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataram yatvipatamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataram. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class, continuing Canto number 1, chapter 11, entitled Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwarka, text number 19. Varamukyas
Varamukyas
Cha
Cha
Shatasu
Sadaso
Yanais
Jnanais
Tad
Tad
Darshanotsukaha
Darshanotsukaha
Lasat
Lasat
Kundala
Kundala
Nirbhata
Nirbhata
Kapola
Kapola
Vadana
Vadana
Striyaha
Shriya
Sriyaha
Shriya
Varamukyas Cha Shatasho
Varamukyas Sadaso
Yanaistad Darshanotsukaha
Jnane Darshanotsukaha
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
Kapalo Kapola Vadana Sriyaha
Kapola Vadana Shriya
Varamukyascha Shatasho
Varamukyasya Shataso
Yanaistad Darshanotsukaha
Jnane Darshanotsukaha
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
Kapola Vadana Sriyaha
Kapola Vadana Shriya
Varamukyascha Shatasho
Varamukyasya Shataso
Yanaistad Darshanotsukaha
Jnane Darshanotsukaha
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
Kapola Vadana Sriyaha
Kapola Vadana Shriya
Varamukya Satasho
Varamukyascha Shataso Yanaistad Darshanotsukaha
Kundala Nirbhata
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
Kapola Vadana Sriyaha
Kapola Vadana Sriyaha
वारमुख्या च सतशो
Varamukhyascha Sataso
यानस्तदर्शनोत्सुका
Yanaistadarsanotsukaha
लसत्कुण्डानि निर्भाता
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
कपोलो वदनश्रिया
Kapola Vadana Sriyaha
वार्यमुख्या स सतसु
Varamukhyascha
सतशो
ज्ञानिस्तदर्शनोत्सुका
Yanaistadarsanotsukaha
लसकुण्डलनिभात
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
कपोलवदनश्रिया
Kapola Vadana Sriyaha
Varamukhascha Sataso
Varamukhyascha Shatasu
Yanayastaddarshanatsukaha
Yanaistadarsanotsukaha
Satkundala Nirbhata
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
Kapula Badana Siyaha
Kapola Vadana Sriyaha
मुख्याश्च सतसु
Varamukhyascha Satasu
दर्शनोत्सुकः
Yanaistadarsanotsukaha
सत्कुण्डला निर्भता
Lasat Kundala Nirbhata
कपोलावादना श्रियः
Kapola Vadana Sriyaha Varamukya
वारमुख्या
well-known prostitutes
well-known prostitutes
Cha
cha
and
and
Satashaha
Satasaha
hundreds of
hundreds of
Yanai
Yanai
by vehicles
by vehicles
Tadarsana
Tadarshana
for meeting him
for meeting him
Lord Sri Krishna
Lord Sri Krishna
Utsukaha
Utsukaha
very much anxious
very much anxious
Lasat
Lasat
hanging
hanging
Kundala
Kundala
earrings
earrings
Nirbhata
Nirbhata
dazzling
dazzling
Kapola
Kapola
forehead
forehead
Vadana
Vadana
face
face
Sriyaha
Sriya
beauty
beauty
translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sridham Prabhupada ki
Jai
At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. Kindly repeat after me. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes
Many hundreds of well-known prostitutes
began to proceed
began to proceed
on various vehicles.
on various vehicles.
They were all very eager
They were all very eager
to meet the Lord,
to meet the Lord,
and their beautiful faces
and their beautiful faces
were decorated
were decorated
with dazzling earrings,
with dazzling earrings,
which enhanced the beauty
which enhance the beauty
of their foreheads.
of their foreheads.
Report. We may not hate even the prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord. Even to date, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of the Lord. By tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society, but that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. It is understood herewith that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in a city like Dwarka, where Lord Krishna resided. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of society. The government opens wine shops, but this does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost, and it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encourage illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions, and if there is no prostitute, then such low men will induce others into prostitution. It is better that prostitutes be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitutes within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the Lord, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life. Sri Bilvamangala Thakur, a great acharya of the Vishnu Swami Vaishnava sect, in his householder life was overly attracted to a prostitute who happened to be a devotee of the Lord. One night when the Thakur came to Chintamani's house in torrents of rain and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see how the Thakur could come on such a dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakur Bilvamangala that his attraction to the flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if it could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. It was a momentous hour for the Thakur, and he took a turn towards spiritual realization by the words of a prostitute. Later on, the Thakur accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master, and in several places of his literary works, he has glorified the name of Chintamani, who showed him the right path. I have a shudder. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:32, the Lord says, O son of Pritha, O son of Pritha, even the low-born Chandalas and those who are born in a family of unbelievers, and even the prostitutes shall attain perfection of life if they take shelter of unalloyed devotional service to me. Because in the path of devotional service there are no impediments due to a degraded birth and occupation. The path is open for everyone who agrees to follow it. It appears that the prostitutes of Dwarka who were so eager to meet the Lord were all his unalloyed devotees, and thus they were all on the path of salvation according to the above version of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the only reformation that is necessary in society is to make an organized effort to turn the citizens into devotees of the Lord. And thus all good qualities of the denizens of heaven will overtake them in their own way. On the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualifications whatsoever, however they may be materially advanced. The difference is that the devotees of the Lord are on the path of liberation, whereas the non-devotees are on the path of further entanglement in material bondage. The criterion of advancement of civilization is whether the people are educated and advanced on the path of salvation. Translation again. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all eager. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. So one may be initially surprised how in a city like Dwarka there are prostitutes. There are prostitutes who are devotees. So Prabhupada is making the point that regardless of one's activity or occupation, the main criteria is that one be a devotee of the Lord. In the purport, actually, Prabhupada explains how actually we see in the Shastra, for example, meat eating is not promoted or not meat eating is not allowed. It is going against the which one of the four pillars does it go against? Meat eating?
Mercy.
Yeah.
Meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex.
No.
Mercy, daya.
Yeah, daya.
Okay. Pity.
Yeah. One is lacking in daya or mercy or compassion if one indulges or engages in meat eating, right? Each of the four pillars correspond to one of the four sinful activities or prohibitions. Satyam, truthfulness, goes against the quality of or the activity of gambling. Yes. Daya, we just mentioned, against meat eating. Tapa goes against the quality of or the activity. No.
Cleanliness.
Tapa means lacking. Tapa means austerity, discipline. So it means illicit sex.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And Saucham, cleanliness, intoxication. Intoxication pollutes the body as well as affects the mind. Yeah. So, although these are four sinful activities, there is provision. There are provisions in society for those who are addicted to meat eating. It is enjoying that they can. I was surprised actually. Just I think last year we were visiting Ahobilam. You were there? Yeah. We had a very nice darshan in Ahobilam. Huh? Yeah, Ahobilam means so many different temples of Lord Nrsimhadev. The whole of Andhra Pradesh is full of many holy dhams, holy places where Lord Nrsimhadev performs various pastimes. So after getting all this wonderful darshan, we were returning, we were coming down. And then then we saw some goats being taken up, right? Very healthy, good-looking goats. And then I was asking, how come normally goats are going to the slaughterhouse? So then it was explained that actually, indeed, these goats are going to be slaughtered. And that because the whole area of Ahobilam is originally cared for by by I guess forest people practically, who are accustomed to hunting or accustomed to eating meat. So somehow there is some concession or arrangement that in some particular place, actually, there are directives in the Shastra where concession for meat eating, as we know, Prabhupada speaks about this, it should take place, for example, once a month, and the animal should be like a goat, not just any animal, a goat. And in the Shastra it mentions that it should be, I think, on Amavasya, dark moon night, and the person who wants to eat, he himself should actually kill the animal, and he should whisper in his right ear one particular mantra. That is, the meaning of the mantra is that now I'm killing you and later you can kill me. Yeah. So, after doing that a few times, even once, one should realize this is probably not so good. Because this person in this body, goat body, is going to kill me, right? And it's meant to be taking place away from the public. It should not be seen, isn't it? I was traveling in Navadvip many years back, and now it's like everywhere. It's like they kill animals practically in the public. They sell flesh of animals in the public, isn't it? We go on the rickshaw or walking, and it's like, this is not actually in keeping with Shastra. So here, similarly, prostitute, um, because there are men who are not able to be properly disciplined. So Prabhupada is making the point that to avoid that that to avoid that there be, we could say, uncontrolled activities. So some similar to meat eating, some system or some regulation is established in the Shastra. There's no details are given as such in terms of how this is meant to be managed. Possibly there are some guidelines, but it means that it's like in society, marriage is there. Marriage is there for regulated sex life. So the main point, as mentioned here by Srila Prabhupada, is that those who are engaged in such activities, they are not barred, just like that is also there in the Bhagavatam. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradi trivena bhakti yogena. Regardless of one's position, whether one is having no material desires, akama, sarva kama, whether one is having all material desires, one should still take up to that practice or the process of devotional service, and gradually one will become purified, so that in due course of time one will give up, such activities. He's noticing something. Devotee. Oh, okay. Yeah. So then one question may come, but all the residents of Dwarka are eternal associates of the Lord. So prostitution is for whom? We read earlier, all Hare Krishna. Yes. Oh, on peut enlever nos chaussures, on peut les mettre sur le côté là-bas. Okay. Oui. We need a sign. Shoes here, there. Yeah. Right. So, right. We will put Ananta Vijay Prabhu in charge of shoes and in charge of guests. So there are guidelines. There are very specific guidelines in the Vedic culture. For example, wait, notre ami n'est pas venu avec toi. T'es venu seul?
Oui.
Ah, ok.
Alors, je
C'est
suis
bon.
venu ce matin parce qu'un dévot m'a proposé. Hier, ça vous dérange pas?
Pardon?
Je suis venu ce matin parce qu'un dévot m'a proposé, ça vous dérange pas?
Oui, oui, absolument. Oui, oui, pas de problème. So, we should not misunderstand that the 4 pillars of dharma are meant to be broken. They're rather meant to be upheld. And again, as Prabhupada explains, because not everyone is up to the standard. Just like, for example, to live in a temple, to live in an ashram, then there are specific regulations. One is one is obligated, we can say. One is having to follow the basic, it's part of the, we could say, rules and regulations within an ashram, that these 4 basic principles of no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex life need to be followed. That doesn't mean that if somebody cannot follow, that he cannot come to visit the temple, to take darshan of the Lord, but he cannot stay in the temple, isn't it? So like this within society, depending on situations and circumstances, the same principles are respected based on, we could say, the level of advancement of individuals. What is most important, what is essential, is that everyone, regardless of one's ability to follow strictly or not to follow strictly, everyone is encouraged to practice spiritual life, everyone is encouraged to chant the holy name, isn't it? We don't prohibit, rather we encourage uh, those who are not able to follow the basic principles of Krishna consciousness, these four, what we call regulative principles, which are described as being the pillars of dharma. So some things like taking prasadam, like taking darshan, like chanting the holy name, can be taken up by everyone within society. And by taking up such activities, one will become gradually purified. Yeah. That is what is. So because even the prostitutes in Dwarka were devotees, they were also part of the, we could say, reception party. They were also very eager to see the Lord, who had been away from Dwarka, as we know, for a fair amount of time. Yeah. So any thoughts or questions on this?
Are Apsara of heaven
The Apsaras,
are also positive.
some of them,
Some of them.
yes. Yes, we hear about descriptions of some, because in the Svargaloka, which means Svargaloka, heavenly planets. Heavenly planets are, you could say, planets of enjoyment. They are. It is described that it's very difficult for people in the heavenly planets actually to make spiritual advancement because there's so much of opportunities for sense gratification. And the opposite is there for lower planets or hellish planets, because there's so much of suffering or misery that one can also not make spiritual advancement so easily. So, of all of the different places in the universe, so many different planets are there. Upper planetary system, lower planetary system, middle planetary system. We are in the middle planetary systems. So Shastra describes that here the Earth planet in particular is described as being the most ideal place because there is a more of a balance between happiness and distress, and therefore one more easily can make advancements in spiritual life. So as devotees, I mean, those who are not everyone in the heavenly planets are devotees. You know, that is why someone who is fortunate to come in contact with the transcendental knowledge or spiritual knowledge, especially of devotional service, the pure devotees of the Lord who are fully engaged in in devotional service are much higher elevated than different demigods, because they are not having any. Demigods generally have still material desires. So that is therefore not our aspiration to be elevated to heavenly planets. Our aspiration is to one day become qualified to return to the spiritual world. Heavenly planets are within the material world. It means that actually, and this is the main theme, a subject that Prabhupada speaks about a lot. Why does he speak about it? Because it's very much present throughout the Bhagavatam. This major problem for all of us, for all living entities in the material world, is actually sex attraction. If one, Prabhupada one time was telling, why do so many, why do so many people offer their obeisances? Why do so many people worship me? Prabhupada was telling, is because I don't have any attraction for sex life. The major obstacle for advancement in spiritual life is actually sex attraction. And why is that the main problem for all living entities in the material world? Because this is nicely explained actually by one of our acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who discusses the topic of sex psychology. Sex psychology should be of interest to everyone, because the original, what does sex life mean? We say sex attraction. Sex attraction means it is something that is very powerful and attractive. It is described by our acharyas as the perverted reflection of the original attraction. That's why Krishna is the source actually of all attraction. The very word Krishna means all attractive. But that becomes, we say, polluted or perverted when that same attraction is diverted or separated from Krishna. And that original attraction is of a different, is not on the bodily platform. That is the Maya that is deluding all of us here in the material world. We see something that is beautiful, someone beautiful, we hear some beautiful music, we taste, we like to taste food that is that is very tasty. So our senses, by nature, our senses are attracted to different objects. So it is natural, but what we need to understand that this is a reflection of what is actually meant to be in its original pure form. and that is the whole, let's say, the science of bhakti or devotional service, because the essence of bhakti, is attraction, attraction in terms of on the spiritual or transcendental platform, on the actually even above that, on the devotional platform. Just like Prabhupada explains how the relationship between a mother and a child, right? That's a spontaneous, natural attraction and affection that is there. The mother naturally, spontaneously loves her child. And the child also becomes very attached to the mother. There's nothing sexual in that relationship, but it is based on very spontaneous, natural attraction. So whatever attraction is there in the material world, which is on the bodily platform, is a reflection. Prabhupada says the closest thing that comes to unalloyed devotional service is that natural attraction of a mother for the child. It's just like spontaneous. And and it is only when we develop that natural devotional attraction, which is only existing above matter, above the material senses, above the material mind, then we will lose our so-called attraction for what is material. It is the science of rasa. Rasa actually means, Prabhupada translates rasa as mellow. En français, c'est quoi mellow? Bonne question. Hein? Mellow. Taste. Mellow, taste. A few words like this. Look it up in the dictionary. Mellow, taste. Connected with sentiment. Huh? Nectar. Sentiment. Doux sentiment. Yes. So there is material rasa and there is spiritual rasa. When we are not, when we don't know about spiritual rasa, then we are caught up with material rasa. Rasa we cannot give up. We love, the loving propensity, isn't it? The loving propensity, Prabhupada says, it is a birthright. The sun has come out. Love and affection, it's okay. Love and affection is the birthright of all living entities. Because we are born from Krishna. We are created by Krishna. Amaya Vangsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are the eternally parts and parcels of Krishna. So Krishna, by nature, by definition, by activity, by quality, he is the personification of bhakti, the personification of love. And there's nothing material in that manifestation of love. But in the material world, because the jiva, living entity within this body, is working through this material body, the jiva, which is totally spiritual, doesn't really need this body, but is connected with this body now. Therefore, we are experiencing this perverted reflection of what is the adirasa. There is adirasa. Adi means original, beginning. The original rasa of the jiva is bhakti. And majority of people in the material world who are not knowing about bhakti, therefore must experience, because that need is there, must experience rasa on the material level, which is mainly through sex life. And that is the most difficult, we could say, most difficult attraction to give up. Unless we know about and learn and practice spiritual attraction, which is actually devotional. What are the three types of happiness again? Material happiness, spiritual happiness, and devotional happiness. So bhakti actually brings us to devotional happiness, even beyond just ordinary spiritual happiness. Most people who experience some kind of spiritual happiness is above, of course, material happiness, but it is lacking in terms of the bhakti element. The bhakti element, the rasa element, opens the doors to spiritual, devotional relationship. That's why in the material world, everyone is looking, hankering for my beloved. Everyone looking for a friend. Everyone looking for a lover. And we get disappointed because even the best of lover one day has to leave the body, isn't it? Either the lover or the beloved has to leave the body. But our hankering is for our hankering for happiness, for love, is beyond time. Means it meant to be eternal. That's why by nature nobody wants to die, because we are meant, and we do actually live eternally as spirit soul. Yeah. We were reading the verse here, how in Dwarka, all the residents of Dwarka are coming out to receive the Lord. And in the verse today, it mentions about the prostitutes in Dwarka also, who are actually devotees, were also eager to receive the Lord. And we got into a whole discussion about, the four pillars, the four pillars of dharma, and how within the Vedic culture, although meat eating is prohibited, but there are concessions for those who are not able to follow. Not in our temples, not in the ashram. Yeah, some activity. Yes.
In Jagannath Puri,
In
whoever eat meat, it is like habisana. It is not.
Abhisana,
Yes, it is not meat eating in Jagannath Puri.
I don't quite follow.
Who eat meat
In Jagannath Puri.
in Jagannath Puri, it is not meat eating. It is like habisana eating.
That means
It is a broto.
vrata.
Yes, like a broto. Not considered as meat eating.
You mean it's not sinful?
No, yes, not sinful.
So those who want to eat meat should go to the Jagannath Puri.
No, only for the Jagannath Puri residents.
Oh, for the Jagannath Puri residents.
And tourists also who see.
So that's what I'm saying. If you want to eat meat, go to Jagannath Puri.
But we are devotee. We know this, but we cannot misuse this.
Okay, I don't know about this. Yeah.
So it's allowed there to kill animals. It's allowed in
But we know these things. We are devotee. We cannot misuse this rule.
I'm not familiar with this rule, and one would have to actually. There are rules as we mentioned a little earlier, for example, there are concessions in the Shastra for those who are not able to follow. They can eat, they can kill a goat, but there are regulations how this is meant to be done. Um, and I don't know about.
It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Okay. Well, we would have to read more closely to find out more details about that. The basic and obvious principle, which is explained in the Shastra, is that we should be following these 4 rules and regulations. Although there may be some concessions at different times, and possibly certain places like Jagannath Puri, but we have to find out about that. Okay, the Rajas, symptoms of Rajas have appeared already, and rightly so because it's already 7 o'clock. Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jai Sri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gauda Pimanande
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.